What if the most powerful medicine on earth was growing right outside your window? Right now, millions of people are spending thousands of dollars on pills, prescriptions, and doctor visits for problems that ancient civilizations solved with a single leaf. And here's what's wild. Some of the most respected healers in human history, from Egyptian priests to Chinese medicine masters to Native American shamans, they all use the same plants. Plants that modern pharmaceutical companies don't want on your radar. Today, I'm going to reveal 20 of them. And listen, plant number 7 has been used for over 5,000 years to calm the nervous system. And plant number 19? Ancient warriors carried it into battle because of what it did to their bodies. You'll want to stay until the very end for that one. So take a breath, get comfortable, because what you're about to hear may completely change how you look at your backyard, your kitchen, and your health. But before we start, I need to say something most people skip. These plants are not magic pills. They are not guaranteed cures. What they are is thousands of years of human wisdom, backed by traditional use and growing scientific curiosity. Always talk to your doctor before making health changes. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with a plant that's been sitting in Indian medicine cabinets for over 3,000 years. Ashwagandha. Say it with me. Ashwagandha. This root, native to India and North Africa, is what Ayurvedic healers called a rasayana, a substance that promotes youth, energy, and long life. Traditionally used to help the body manage stress, ashwagandha may support healthy cortisol levels. That's the hormone your body releases when you're overwhelmed, anxious, or exhausted. Imagine a single mother working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, always feeling wired but exhausted at the same time. That's what high cortisol does to a person. Traditional healers have turned to ashwagandha for exactly that kind of deep, bone-level fatigue for centuries. Today, it's one of the most studied adaptogenic herbs in the world. You've probably seen this one in your spice rack, but you have no idea what it's really capable of. Turmeric, the golden root, used for over 4,000 years across India, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, turmeric contains a compound called curcumin. Ancient Ayurvedic texts describe it as a powerful tool for reducing swelling, supporting digestion, and purifying the blood. Traditional medicine has long used it for joint discomfort, skin conditions, and digestive trouble. Here's an emotional truth. In rural Indian villages, when a child fell and bruised a knee, the grandmother didn't run to a pharmacy. She made a paste of turmeric and warm milk. They called it golden milk. They'd been doing it for generations, long before any laboratory existed to explain why it worked. This one is considered so sacred in Hindu culture that families plant it outside their homes as a daily prayer. Holy basil, or tulsi, has been used for thousands of years as a spiritual, emotional, and physical healer. Traditionally used to support respiratory health, reduce anxiety, and balance blood sugar levels. Tulsi is what traditional Indian medicine calls a queen of herbs. Monks and healers would brew it into tea during times of illness or grief because they believed it healed both the body and the spirit. Modern herbalists still recommend it for exactly that purpose. Now we get into something a little darker. Something for the people lying awake at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, mind racing. Valerian root. Used since ancient Greece and Rome, this earthy, pungent root was traditionally used to ease nervousness and promote restful sleep. Greek physician Hippocrates himself, the father of modern medicine, wrote about its calming properties. It may help quiet an overactive mind and ease the body into a more relaxed state at night, traditionally used as a natural sleep supporter for centuries. If you've ever felt like your brain simply won't turn off at night, the ancient Greeks understood that feeling, and they had a solution growing in their fields. Winter is coming, and for hundreds of years across Europe, one dark purple berry was the first line of defense. Elderberry. Traditionally used by European folk healers to support immune health, elderberry syrup and tea have been passed down through generations as a cold season staple. It may help the body respond to seasonal illness more effectively, and its rich antioxidant content has made it a favorite in traditional European and Native American medicine alike. Let's talk about your liver for a second. Right now, your liver is working overtime. Every processed meal, every glass of wine, every medication you've ever taken, your liver filtered it. All of it. Silently. Without complaint. And most people never think about it until something goes wrong. Meet milk thistle, a spiky purple-flowered plant that grows wild across Europe and North America. For over 2,000 years, Roman physicians used it specifically to support liver health. The active compound inside it, silymarin, has been studied for its potential to help protect and regenerate liver cells. Traditional herbalists recommended it for people recovering from illness, poor diet, or exposure to toxins. It was their way of saying, let's give your hardest working organ a little love. Your liver never asks for anything. Maybe it's time you gave something back. 5,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians used this plant in their mummification rituals. They also used it for medicine, perfume, and prayer. That plant is lavender, and its power goes far deeper than a pretty smell. Traditionally used across Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cultures, lavender has been documented for its calming, mood-supportive, and sleep-enhancing properties for millennia. Roman soldiers bathed in lavender-infused water before battle, not just for hygiene, but because they believed it steadied their nerves and sharpened their minds. Today, aromatherapists and herbalists still use it for anxiety, restlessness, and emotional overwhelm. It may help calm the nervous system in ways that feel almost immediate. A few drops of essential oil, a warm cup of lavender tea, and something in your body simply exhales. This is plant number 7. I told you to wait for it. Was it worth it? This one lives in almost every kitchen on Earth. And yet most people have no idea they're sitting on one of the most powerful digestive healers in human history, ginger. Used for over 5,000 years across Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, ginger has been a cornerstone of traditional medicine in virtually every ancient culture that encountered it. Traditionally used for nausea, indigestion, inflammation, and circulation, ginger was so valued in medieval Europe that a pound of it was worth the same as an entire sheep. Think about that. A spice worth a sheep. There's a reason. When ancient sailors crossed unknown seas for months at a time, ginger was what kept their stomachs stable. When pregnant women in Asia felt morning sickness, their grandmothers reached for ginger tea, not a prescription. Simple, powerful, timeless. Native American tribes across the Great Plains knew something that took Western medicine centuries to start exploring. Echinacea, a bright, cone-shaped wildflower, was one of the most widely used medicinal plants among indigenous North American healers. The Cheyenne, Sioux, and Cherokee all used it for different purposes, from wound healing to respiratory support to fighting infection. It was their immune system's best friend, traditionally used to support the body's natural defenses. Echinacea may help reduce the duration and severity of seasonal illness when taken at the first sign of symptoms. When a Lakota healer pressed this root into the hands of someone falling ill, they weren't guessing. They were passing down knowledge earned across hundreds of generations. That's not superstition, that's wisdom. Here's where things get interesting. Most people think of peppermint as a candy flavor, a toothpaste ingredient, a holiday scent. What they don't know is that peppermint has been used medicinally for at least 10,000 years, making it one of the oldest known herbal remedies on the planet. Ancient Egyptian medical scrolls dating back to 1000 BC reference mint as a healing herb. Greek and Roman physicians used it for digestion, headaches, and respiratory issues. The key compound, menthol, may help relax muscles in the digestive tract, ease tension headaches when applied topically, and open airways during congestion. A warm cup of peppermint tea after a heavy meal isn't just comfort, it's ancient medicine dressed in modern simplicity. Okay, stop everything. We are halfway through this list, and I need you to pay very close attention right now, because the next 10 plants, they go deeper, they get stranger, and a few of them genuinely shocked the researchers who studied them. There's one plant coming up, used by African tribal healers for centuries, that Western scientists didn't take seriously until a landmark study turned their entire understanding upside down. And the final plant on this list? Ancient warriors didn't just use it for healing, they believed it made them fearless. Stay with me. We are just getting to the good part. Deep inside the Amazon rainforest, there grows a woody vine with sharp, curved thorns that look exactly like a cat's claw. Indigenous tribes of Peru and South America have used this plant for over 2,000 years for inflammation, digestive issues, immune support, and wound healing. They called it uña de gato, the vine that heals from the inside. Traditionally used by Amazonian healers to support joint health and immune function, cat's claw contains compounds that researchers today are actively studying for their anti-inflammatory potential. This is not a plant that wandered into a health food store by accident. It earned its place through thousands of years of real-world use by people who depended on it for survival. Imagine a plant so gentle that medieval monks grew it in monastery gardens specifically to calm their minds during prayer and meditation. That's lemon balm, a soft, lemon-scented herb in the mint family that has been used across Europe and the Middle East for over 2,000 years. Traditionally used for anxiety, sleep trouble, and digestive upset triggered by stress, lemon balm was described by the ancient Greek physician Dioscorides as a plant that makes the heart merry. For the person who carries tension in their stomach, who feels stressed before a big meeting, as nausea or grief is a clenched chest, lemon balm tea may offer something quietly powerful. Not a cure, not a miracle, just a plant that's been holding space for anxious humans for 20 centuries. Ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic healing, medieval Arab physicians. Every single one of them used fenugreek. This small golden seed with a slightly bitter maple-like taste has been found in Egyptian tombs dating back to 1500 BC, placed there intentionally, because the ancients believed it had the power to support health even in the afterlife. Traditionally used to support blood sugar balance, digestive health, and in women, to support milk production during breastfeeding. One of history's most universal healing seeds, found on 5 continents, trusted across dozens of cultures, still sitting quietly in your spice rack, waiting to be taken seriously. This one might surprise you. You know oregano as a pizza herb, but for centuries across the Mediterranean, particularly in Greece, oregano was primarily a medicine, not a spice. The name literally comes from the Greek words for joy of the mountains. Traditional Greek healers used it for respiratory issues, skin infections, and digestive problems. Oil of oregano, a concentrated extract from the leaves, contains compounds like carfacrol and thymol that researchers are now studying for their potential antimicrobial properties. Ancient Greek mothers rubbed diluted oregano oil on their children's chests during winter illness. Not because it was trendy, because it worked, generation after generation, until it became tradition, then knowledge, then family medicine. In the villages of sub-Saharan Africa and rural India, there is a tree so loaded with nutrition that locals have called it the tree of life for centuries. Its leaves, its seeds, its bark, its roots. Almost every part of this tree has been used medicinally for over 4,000 years. That tree is moringa, and this is the plant that made Western researchers stop and stare. For generations, traditional healers in Africa and South Asia used moringa leaves to fight malnutrition, support energy levels, and reduce inflammation. Mothers fed it to their children. Elders brewed it into tea. Village healers dried it into powder and called it a gift from the earth. Then scientists analyzed it, and what they found was staggering. Moringa leaves contain more vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, and more iron than spinach, all in a single leaf. It may help support energy, reduce oxidative stress, and nourish the body at a cellular level. And for thousands of years, the people who needed it most, the ones without pharmacies, without hospitals, without supplements, they already knew. They didn't need to study. They had grandmothers. No, not the candy, something far more ancient and far more powerful. Marshmallow root, Althea officinalis, has been used medicinally since ancient Egypt and Greece. In fact, the candy was originally made from this plant because healers mixed the root's thick, gel-like extract with honey and sugar to soothe sore throats in children. The medicine came first. The candy was just a side effect, traditionally used to coat and soothe irritated mucous membranes throughout the body, from the throat to the stomach lining to the urinary tract. Marshmallow root produces a substance called mucilage when mixed with water. Think of it as nature's internal bandage, a gentle coating layer of calm for every inflamed passage in your body. For the person with chronic digestive irritation, persistent dry cough, or recurring throat discomfort, this humble root has been quietly offering relief since the time of pharaohs. For centuries across Europe, this thorny shrub with small red berries was planted around churches and sacred sites. People believed it was protected by something divine. Maybe they were onto something. Hawthorn berry has been used in traditional European and Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, specifically for one organ above all others, the heart. Traditional herbalists and healers across multiple continents used hawthorn to support cardiovascular health, healthy circulation, and emotional grief, because in many ancient traditions, the heart was not just a physical organ, it was the seat of the soul. It may help support healthy blood pressure already within normal range and promote circulation. But beyond the biology, there's something poetic about a plant that people have turned to for 2,000 years when their hearts were hurting, physically and emotionally. This one doesn't look like a plant. It looks like something from another world. A white, cascading, shaggy mushroom that resembles exactly a lion's mane hanging from a tree. For over 1,000 years in traditional Chinese and Japanese medicine, lion's mane was reserved for royalty and Buddhist monks, not because it was rare, but because it was considered too powerful, too precious for ordinary use. Monks consumed it before long meditation sessions because they believed it sharpened the mind and deepened focus. Healers used it to support what traditional Chinese medicine called the spirit of the stomach and the clarity of the mind. Today, researchers are actively studying its potential to support cognitive function, nerve health, and mental clarity. Some early studies suggest it may support the production of nerve growth factor, a protein essential for brain health. A mushroom that monks protected for 1,000 years might be exactly what modern, overstimulated, distracted human brains have been missing. I told you at the beginning to wait for this one. Here it is. Rhodiola rosea, a flowering plant that grows in the harshest, coldest, most unforgiving environments on Earth. Arctic tundra, Siberian mountain cliffs, the rocky coasts of Scandinavia. To survive where nothing else can, that takes something extraordinary. And traditional healers believed that power transferred directly to the people who consumed it. Viking warriors used rhodiola before raids to boost endurance and courage. Siberian hunters carried it on long expeditions into brutal winters to maintain strength and mental sharpness. Chinese emperors sent expeditions to the far north specifically to retrieve it. This is the plant ancient warriors believed made them fearless. Traditionally used as an adaptogen, a substance that helps the body resist physical and mental stress. Rhodiola may support stamina, reduce mental fatigue, and help the body perform under extreme pressure. It doesn't numb you. It doesn't sedate you. According to thousands of years of traditional use, it makes you more resilient, more focused, more capable of facing what's in front of you. In a world that never stops demanding more from us, that feels less like a supplement and more like a lifeline, we save the most sacred for last. 3,000 years before it was brought as a gift to a manger in Bethlehem, frankincense was already one of the most prized healing substances on earth. Ancient Egyptians burned it in temples and used it in medicine. Ayurvedic healers in India called it source tree. Bojwellia, one of the pillars of traditional medicine. Arab physicians prescribed it for dozens of conditions. Ancient Romans paid fortunes to import it from the East. And across all of these cultures, across all of these centuries, they kept coming back to the same uses: joint pain, inflammation, respiratory health, and the mind. The resin of the boswellia tree contains compounds called boswellic acids, studied today for their potential anti-inflammatory properties that may support joint comfort and mobility. But beyond science, there's something about frankincense that transcends the physical. Every civilization that discovered it felt it. That's why they burned it in sacred spaces. That's why they offered it to their gods. That's why they traded gold for it. Some things are ancient not because people didn't know better, but because they knew something we've forgotten. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. For thousands of years, before hospitals, before pharmacies, before insurance paperwork and waiting rooms, human beings healed themselves. They looked at the earth beneath their feet. They watched what animals ate when they were sick. They passed down what worked, generation after generation, in whispered remedies and kitchen rituals and grandmother's hands. That knowledge didn't disappear. It's still here, in roots and leaves and berries and bark, waiting. You don't have to choose between modern medicine and ancient wisdom. The wisest path has always been both informed, curious, and deeply connected to the natural world that made us. Your body is not a machine that breaks down and needs replacement parts. It is a living, breathing, ancient system, designed to heal, designed to adapt, designed to survive. And sometimes, it just needs a little help from a plant that's been waiting 5,000 years to meet you. If something in this video spoke to you, if one of these plants made you think of someone you love, or reminded you of something your grandmother used to make, drop it in the comments below. I genuinely read them, everyone. And if you believe this information deserves to reach more people, people who are searching for answers, who are tired, who are hurting, who deserve to know what the earth has always offered, share this video. You never know whose life it might quietly change. New videos on natural health, ancient remedies, and the hidden wisdom of plants every single week. Subscribe so you never miss one. Take care of yourself. The earth gave you everything you need. See you in the next one.